All right. So I have been working on trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I have this prototype I'm working on after Pirate Jam, and you can see, I mean, it's the same thing I've been doing with the previous Marble Maze prototype. You know, it rotates, it does this. Though I was able to add a boost to the ball, and I believe I added a brake. So I was doing that, and then there's these numbers over here, and this I'm actually pretty happy with. So I got these numbers over here, and you build up power, whatever. But in the script, the TypeScript, I went in and I was able to alter a TypeScript so that the font A is 1, B is 2, so that I can type out with it, so that when I play the scene, I can just type with that TypeScript. And here it says power. So there it says power, but as soon as I press the button, it changes the TypeScript from lowercase to uppercase, and since the uppercase words are in that code, I effectively have a way to write a very simple code. I can write a text-based cryptographic code that can be decoded at the push of a button because it's lowercase and uppercase type. It's really easy to do. I don't have to figure a bunch of stuff out, which I'm really happy with, which means I can then, because the thing that I want to do is I have this scene. Now it starts on, I need to fix that. So I have this scene, I gotta fix all this stuff. So for whatever reason, whenever I move things around, the location changes the way that the personnel control, this is just the bog standard controller that comes with Godot. It kind of sucks. So I'm gonna rewrite it, which I need to do because it lets me figure out how this stuff works. But in the area. Yeah. So I'm going to have highlighted areas that you can interact with. And the idea is that I'm going to set it up more like an escape room where you'll have to interact with clues that will let you do things. And one of the things I'm going to have that you'll interact with is this thing. So my current idea is to have each hole be color-coded and then numerical, so that each one can represent both a number and the color will also represent a number, and that will get you the full alphabet. And so you'll have a code in an alphanumeric like this, where this says power. You would get a code that would say, hey, spell out this, and then you'd have to drop your marble into the different areas. If not that, then something like you have 3 marbles, you need to get them into the 3 red things so that you can open red doors. Or it has to be, you need to get into an orange door, you need a blue marble, and you have to get it into the orange hole. I'm trying to think of ways that you could utilize this mechanism. I was also thinking of using, like, if you had a metal marble and you drew out circuits that were broken, the marble would then connect the circuit, giving you access to some areas. So if you had a door, you could do a 3-color combination, and then you have to come in here and roll the ball around till you get those 3 colors and lock them in place, and then you can use that to open the door. Or you have numbers, and so here you can activate different numbers so you can go into doors. So that's the idea, and I like that idea a lot more because this by itself, this is exciting for me because I'm making it, but outside of me making it, there's not really a whole lot here that's really has a lot to do. And if I make it a race, then it slows down and it kind of loses its edge, which is one thing I noticed, like even with like the timer, trying to race through here, unless you have more finite control or can develop skill for finite control, it doesn't really feel like something that I would want to do for more than like a brief second in passing. And that's when I was thinking about the game as the totality of the game. What do I want this to be? I want it to be a puzzle game, and what are the puzzles I want? And this marble thing, in and of itself, as a puzzle, it's a puzzle, but I mean, it's the same kind of puzzle you would give a toddler to keep them occupied at a restaurant, right? Like, it's simple enough that it will occupy you if there's nothing else. And so by making it part of something bigger, I think it becomes more engaging, especially when it's something that you can use to then interact with things. So I really need to just fix that. Get this kind of thing where if we have a room that you're stuck in when you start and you need to get out, I can do things like put clues in the computer, put notes on things, add clues, and then you can go around and interact with things, pick up pieces. And the idea is you would find pieces and clues to build the device, and then use the device, or decode a clue to use the device to open the door. And that would lead you to the next area. Now you get more clues, more ways to interact with the device, and that's kind of like the gameplay loop in and of itself. So that's what I'm thinking of as far as game right now. Yeah, the controls are super jank. Up makes you go leftish. So I just gotta play with those. I'm also trying to figure out how do I make a character that has animations when you move them. So it's going. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna keep working on this, trying to build out this prototype and get this room done and get it so that the things are interactable. One of the things this means is having like an inventory system and a UI that represents that, so that you can pick up the pieces, and when you have all three, you can then combine them to get the third object, which you can then interact with the door. I'm trying to figure out how to connect it all, make the code work with all that stuff. So that's why the room has a prototype and getting a complete puzzle together. That includes having the code. One of the things I was thinking about is having a separate viewport, so that in this screen you would see the encoded phrase, and then having a separate viewport set on like a flashlight that would then you would see the translated phrase, and having that be one of the functionalities of the object. You could drop a marble in a hole and it would activate that functionality. And then if you get more marbles, they would let you activate more functionality in the device. So there's some of the ideas I'm playing with. I think that as a tool for puzzle solving is more engaging. I was also thinking about theming it in more of like a crash space area, but that's very cliched, and if I did that, I would definitely want to research every person trapped in the space area game, because I feel like there's going to be a lot, and there'd be a lot of puns and jokes I could pull from to kind of add some levity to the game, which I very much like. But this has me more excited than I have been for the past week. I've been really struggling with where's the fun, or how to even make it fun. And I came to the same kind of headway with the Pirate Jam. I came to the same kind of situation during the Pirate Jam game because I couldn't find the fun in what I was doing, and I eventually just scrapped it because I didn't feel like I had time to figure it out. Here, I've stuck with it. I'm glad I did, because I think this kind of puzzle where you're using cryptography and kind of logical like intuitive steps and logical leaps of logical thought to connect things so that you can progress, I think is really interesting. So that's what I want to build. That's currently what I'm going to work on building. I'm starting to get the pieces together, and that's kind of like with this, I definitely could have just downloaded a much more complicated third-person controller, had it done. The problem with that is I don't know how it works. And if I don't know how it works, then I don't want to use it, which means I want to build everything myself so I can figure out how it all works and how it all works together, so I can build them all together, then take them, what other people have built, and make them work with the way I want them to. So that means I'm stuck with janky characters until I can rewrite their controller to work. Another thing I'm thinking about is switching engines to Unity or a different engine. The main reason why I'm thinking about that is Godot doesn't look good, and I don't know how to make it look better. And I don't know if that's a me thing or an engine thing, but I don't see a whole lot of like redeeming qualities. I know I gotta look more into it, but it does make me think like, if I could get something that looked better. I mean, it's also prototype phase, so who knows? I'm gonna keep adding. I'm gonna finish up this game in this engine though, so cut all this. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm gonna keep working through this and building up until I have a full prototype with puzzles. And then I'm gonna get those on my itch page, and I'll start trying to get people to look at it and play the prototype and get some feedback on that kind of puzzle, see what people think about it. So yeah, that's what I got, and thanks for checking things out.